What's up, guys? So I'm working on a new track back here soon on the property. For those that don't know, I bought like 10.5 acres up here in northern Michigan. It snows here, that sucks, but it's where the family's at. So I just wanted to try a different kind of video. I mean, I do GoPros all the time, but I haven't kind of communicated with you guys in a while. So for those of you that don't know, I kind of come from like poor family, I guess. Well, really. Even some of them wouldn't say they are, but they are, because the mentality they have. And you know, I see a lot of people saying that I've just been lucky, or I have a good job, or XYZ thing. But I literally come from dirt. I mean, I had nothing when I started. I had $10 left when I got out of school, and I paid for my own way through college. You know, like, I didn't take any student loans. I worked like 80 hours a week for almost 3 years of high school, co-op credits, yada yada yada. So graduated high school like 46 grand, went to college, did all that, ran track for some scholarship money, had internships the whole time, all 4 years, and then used the money that I saved from high school to pay my own way. And I had $10 when I finished, but I got a job lined up 6 months before I graduated and got into an IT career pretty much right out the gate. So I'm going to kind of show you guys the property while I'm talking here. But I'm going for a stroll and just kind of talking. But you know, I hear a lot of people saying that things are tough right now and they got all these bills and yada yada. So do I, right? Like, we're all in the same economy. We're all in this fucking shitty ass political environment that supposedly was voted for. I won't go into that, not in this video anyways, but you know, like, we're all living the same hyperinflation world, and at the end of the day, like, your decision making is still your problem. Like, it's not, no one puts you in the position you're in but you. Like, I literally started with nothing, and the reason I'm doing okay now is because I don't buy $40,000-$50,000 cars on credit. So I'm paying $760 a month for a fucking car payment plus $200 a month for car insurance. Like, I'm not doing that. I got a 6-figure income. I could afford those vehicles, just like these people driving around with them that make 50 grand a year. But I choose to buy a $5,000 vehicle, own that thing cash outright, and use my money to make money. Like, the reason that I'm doing okay is the only time that I borrow money, with the exception of my house, and even that could be argued for this case, but the only time that I borrow money is to make money. Like, that's why you borrow money. You leverage debt. You don't use it for consumer purchases. Like, it's mind-blowing to me that people are complaining about their situation when they put themselves in the situation. Like, what spawned me making this video is that, you know, I scroll through Facebook or whatever, and there's people just bitching, like, fuck these politicians, fuck this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, fuck them, right? But you're bitching about your bills, and you're bitching about how expensive your life is, and while you're doing so, you're driving around in an $80,000 diesel truck that you don't need. You don't. Even if you need the diesel truck, get a Cummins. Get an older Cummins for 20 grand, right? I doubt you need the diesel. I doubt it. But if you do, and it's how you're making money, then you can write that off. But buy something that solves your problem and does what you need it to do and makes you money for the lowest cost, and own it as quickly as you can, right? Like, for most people, 99% of people, a vehicle is a tool to get you from A to B. And some of us, like with motocross lifestyles, you gotta have a truck. But that doesn't mean you have to have a $40,000 truck that was made in the last year. You just don't. Like, I got an 03 Chevy. I live in Michigan, where shit rusts out and rots, right? And we live in a high period of inflation where used cars are fucking crazy expensive, more expensive than they've ever been. And I was still able to find a deal on a truck for $5,000 in the last year. I think I literally bought it in 2024. Might have been the end of 23. For $5 grand with 100,000 miles on it, right? Like, those deals still exist, and if they don't, then wait, right? Like, be patient. Don't put yourself in bad financial situations. Like, it really is that easy. I'm 29 years old. My mom was in jail slash, prison, whatever, for pretty much most of my high school period. She was into drugs when I was younger. My dad taught me almost everything I know as far as mechanical skills. He showed me what dirt bikes were when I was real young. We didn't have the money to ride them like a lot of you guys do, but got into it later. But I'm super thankful for both my parents, but they don't know money. They didn't know shit. My dad thinks that you just save money. Well, you don't. You can't just save it. You can't just stuff it in a savings account, because like, look at the last 3 years, inflation's up like for a total of 30% or something like that. If you saved money, saved 100 grand, well, now that 100 grand is worth 70 grand. You lost money. You lost 30 grand just letting it sit there. So, like, I think a lot of people don't educate themselves on things, and they just like to complain, or they're too stubborn to listen to people that maybe are wiser than they are, that are doing good, because they're jealous or envious of those people's wealth. And that's just not how you get places in life. Like, admit when you're wrong, admit when you don't know something, and just learn from those people around you. Quit being mad at them because they know something or they've unlocked something that you haven't. Learn how you can tap into that knowledge and use it for yourself. Like, it really is still easy in the United States to create wealth simply by just being smart and making financial decisions that make sense and being patient, right? Like, this property, I'm gonna get to a good spot to show you the whole thing in a second, sorry. I acquired this by being patient and making a plan for about 3 years. And I own it. I don't owe anything on it. I own it. It's worth like $110,000. Paid 70 grand for it. I own it outright, and I can use it to leverage other investments, because I can take out things like a LELOC, right? Like a line of credit against my land, which you don't do to buy a car or buy something stupid. You use it to buy a house that you then flip, or to invest in a stock play that you know is going to be good. Something like that, right? Like, you leverage your debt to make money. I'm gonna cut this conversation for a second just to show you the land, because for the motocross people on the channel that don't care about anything I'm saying, I just want you to see where the track's gonna go. So I got a fire pit here. Eventually I'm gonna try to put a cabin over here with like a little hot tub or something. So, I don't know. I haven't really thought through it that much, but this will be like a little hangout spot. Dig a pond somewhere over here, and then all this land, including all the trees and stuff, which I'll walk through that path in a second, is mine. But this big valley right here, all this is going to be the track. So that's hopefully coming this year. I got planned to getting back to the spiel. Yeah, it really is not that hard. Like, I make good money, like I got a 6-figure income, and that certainly helps accelerate things, but I haven't really made a lot of money with my income because of the cost of living. It's fucking insane, right? Like, I got a kid, I got a wife, she works in childcare. Like, she's not making a ton of money. She does pretty well, actually, for a childcare worker, and I'm proud of her. I'm super proud of what she's done. She's the leader of her field in this state, as far as I'm concerned. Like, she is exceptional at what she does, and I absolutely love having her as the mother of my kid. It's like a cheat code. So, haha, my wife's better than yours. But, yeah, just, I'm going to flip this rock. I don't know, I guess I'm frustrated because I want to help people. I'm hoping that some of what I say here is like, it seems so obvious. Holy shit, that was a big ass deer. Hopefully I got it on camera. I'm just hoping that some of what I says like sticks with people, and maybe it seems obvious and you're like, oh, it's not that easy. We can't just blah, 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 blah. Well, you can. If you have a consumer asset that you bought on credit, sell the fucking thing and pay off the difference. If you're upside down on it, eat the fucking difference. Yeah, it's gonna suck for a minute, but getting out of debt, consumer debt, is the easiest way to make your life less stressful. And then as you start to accumulate money that you save month to month, that's when you can start making more sound financial decisions. But even if you only make 30 grand a year, well, then you shouldn't be worried about buying a house. You shouldn't be worried about having a flashy car. You shouldn't really have any debt if that's what you're making a year. And if you do, it should be maybe student loans, and that's because you're working on a plan, right? But you got your monthly living costs, you got your rent and all that stuff, and I understand that. But your sole goal should be to get that income up to a point where you can save 15% every month, and then from there you can start making plays. Like, it really is as easy as making a plan and taking steps towards that plan every day. So when I had the idea of buying land and buying a track, I was a dumbass 24-year-old kid, and it was just a dream that was never going to happen, right? Like, it's impossible, can't do it. But then I was like, okay, it's not impossible. People stupider than me, I just said stupider, so there you go, that's how stupid I am. People less knowledgeable than me have done it with less. So let me learn some stuff. Let me learn, how does money work? How does interest work? What's the difference between simple interest and amortized interest? You know, like learning these things. Well, let me learn about the stock market. 2020 happened, and I missed a potential possibility of never having to work again, But rather than bitching about it and complaining about it, I said, okay, well, let me learn why I missed this opportunity so that it doesn't happen again. And let me be aggressive with my investing at a young age while I can take it before I have kids, which I do have a kid now. Let me be aggressive, and let me put myself in a position to be aggressive so that this doesn't happen again. I mean, and it works, Like I bought, I'm not going to give you specific numbers because I don't really want to release that, but I'll just put it this way. After that, Nvidia was worth about $180, and I invested heavily in Nvidia. For anybody that doesn't know what it's worth now, go take a peek. And if you're viewing this video after June 7th, when they're doing a stock split, it's worth 10x what you're looking at today. So, keep that in mind. So that's what I did in a 3-year period, percentage wise, about 600% on that. And that was because I educated myself. I learned about the company. I learned about AI. I learned about the way the world was going and why that company was going to be profitable. I didn't know any of that shit. But instead of playing video games and bitching about my problems, I did something about it, right? Like, it's literally that easy. It's frustrating to me. And then with the property, the way I acquired this, I bought a house in an up and coming area 2 years ago when rates were 3%. I will say, anybody trying to do that right now, good fucking luck. Real estate's not the move right now, in my opinion. We're in a very, 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 very bad spot in terms of interest rates and things like that. And I don't see that changing in the immediate future, unfortunately. So that's probably not the avenue I would take. That's up to you to figure out. But I bought the house because I got my house for 2.9%. I bought it sight unseen because I knew the area was good. I knew the school districts were good. I had internships there. I bought it sight unseen. I just had somebody inspect it. Inspection passed. Paid like $190 for it. And I knew the projected growth of that area in the next year because I did research on that. And I sold the house 2 years later on the dot. Why 2 years? Capital gains, right? No capital gains if you live in the house for 2 years. So I did that. That was always the plan from the second I bought the house. And I acquired the house for $200,000 roughly. And I sold that same house for $300,000 2 years later. I owed like $180 at that point. So I made $120,000 from where I was at on my mortgage. And I invested about $4,000 into renovations. I put new floor in and I painted the walls. That's it. That's all I did. It doesn't take a genius to do that. It takes research to do that. But people would rather bitch about their problems and continue to borrow money to try and solve their money problems rather than sell their fucking debt. Get out of debt. Get out from underneath your bullshit and make a future for yourself. If you're continuing to pay on consumer debt, you're gonna lose every fucking time. It's a mistake I made. That's why I'm telling you, right? Like, everything I'm talking about, these stupid things I'm telling you, I did it all. I did all of it because I had parents that didn't teach me about money. Like my dad told me to save money, and that came from a great place, right? Like I don't hold that against him because in that generation, that's what they were taught, and that actually did work. In our grandparents' generation, I'm 29, so, you know, be like the boomers and stuff, it worked for them because the system was set up to make them prosper, but everybody after was going to fail. And that's really easy to figure out if you just go learn a little bit about economics and the decisions that were made, like free trade and the oil-backed dollar and the Federal Reserve. You start learning some of this basic shit that we actually do learn a lot about in high school, believe it or not. Consume this knowledge and move forward with what you learn. It really is that simple. So the point I'm making is I'm not trying to brag, right? Because I still got a long ways to go until I'm where I want to be. But if my dumb ass, who has crashed and gotten concussions and played video games all the time when I was a kid and fucking did stupid shit and wasted the first 24, 25 years of my life and had poor family, poor upbringing, came from nothing, right? If I was able to go from that at 25 to now this at 29, and on paper, all I've really had that whole time is a W-2 job, making between like 85 to 110, give or take. That didn't come from my fucking savings. Like when we bought my first house, we had no money. Like literally, we had like 17 grand, and we had to spend almost all of it just to move back to Michigan. So I'm like, how am I gonna buy this house, right? Got creative. Like, don't do this because it's bad. But there's things you can do to finance things at 0%. If you know you're going to make money on it, if you know that you are going to use that debt to make money, then fucking do it. It's a no-brainer, right? So I bought a tractor. I bought a tractor because financing on tractors is 0% for 5 years. So I bought a tractor for $20,000 on credit, and I sold that tractor because when you sell a tractor, there's no titles. So I was able to sell it to somebody, and there's no, as long as they give me cash and I keep making the payments on my loan, no questions asked. No one ever knows, right? He's had it for years. He's super happy with the tractor. He's built a whole plethora of his property, all sorts of cool stuff. I'm glad I sold it to him. The guy has made absolute amazing use of it. He got a deal on it, so he was happy. And I took that money. I took a $2,000 loss right away because I sold it and it was quote unquote used, right? And I bought it new. But he basically got a brand new tractor for a $2,000 discount. I ate $2,000, but let's call that $2,000 that I paid on a $20,000 loan over 5 years. It's not that bad, right? But I got that money immediately, and it's 0%. And then I took that and I financed my house. How did I do that? Because they look at your financials. Well, that's where you got to be creative, and I'm not going to disclose that in this video because, yeah, it's creative. I was creative. Let's just say it doesn't have to just be your name on things, and we'll leave it at that. But so, you know, technically I don't know how legal it is. It doesn't really matter because no one's looking, because I'm still paying that bill every month. I still pay the bank every month, right? Like it was 0%. I pay that $200 whatever dollars every month because it made me money, right? So I took that, my $200,000 house, I put down the minimum. I put $4,000 into it. So out of pocket, I was into that house for like $20,000 between closing costs, yada, 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 right? So it cost me like $6,000 out of my pocket. And I'm obviously still paying the 0% on the tractor, right? But then I sold that house 2 years later for $300,000. So I took my $7,000 out of pocket cost and turned it into $100-something thousand profit after paying off that mortgage, which now bought me this land. So it cost me $6,000 to buy this land. That's what I'm telling you. I got this 10.5 acres for $6,000 at the end of the day. No, that's not what I paid for it, but that's what it cost me, right? How did I do that? Educated myself. I didn't bitch about my problems. I said, how can I make this fucking happen? And it really is that simple, guys. Anybody, don't care where you're from, what your financial state is in life, if you got debt up to your ears, get the fuck out of it. And as long as that debt is on something tangible, you can sell it and you can eat the negative difference if it's there, right? Those of you that are in crazy ass amount of debt, like student loans and things like that, there's programs for this. There's a save program. There's things that you can do, right? Let's say you don't have any money in your account, but you are doing good in an investment account. You can use things like a 431 exchange or 1031 exchange, I think it's called, to leverage your assets, to buy other assets. Like I told you, I have a LELOC on this property. I have an $80,000 credit line against a piece of property that I have completely paid off. Works just like a credit card. Don't have to pay nothing on it unless I use it to buy something. I will only use it to buy something to make money with that something. See what I'm saying? And then I stick that money in certain accounts. My daughter, who's 1 year old, is my employee. She's my brand ambassador. So I can pay her up to $16,000 a year tax-free. And then I can take that money, stick it in a Roth IRA account, and then make interest on that money tax-free. Yeah, it goes to my daughter. So what? It's the family legacy, baby. I ain't losing money. We all coming up. And that's what I'm saying is like, it comes educating yourself. Who taught me all this stuff? No one. I went out and sought the information. I learned from talking to different people that knew things. I went on the internet and learned a lot of stuff got from the internet. Market research it's simply just number crunching, right? Like if you can do basic math, basic arithmetic and percentages, you can figure out, your risk and what it's going to cost you to do things. Pretty close. Obviously, you leave margin for error, so you build that into your risk tolerance, right? Like how risky are you willing to be? These are all things that you can do without anyone's help. Really, like I don't know why I felt the need to make this video, but I kind of want to do like more in-depth on certain topics. This is really long now, so I'll probably end up maybe cutting some of this out, but I want to talk more about just things besides motocross, I guess, because I'm 30, and if I'm being honest, dirt bikes probably won't be forever in my life. Like, I do have a kid. I don't ride as much. I could have gone riding today and chose not to. Just kind of getting older, and I got other things going on. But I think I'll always ride. Like, I'm planning on building a track out here, so it's not going anywhere. But I don't know. I want to talk more about me and my family, and see if I can help people out with some of the things that I've learned. So if you like this kind of content, or if you like some of the stuff I'm talking about here, or you want to know more about specific things that I'm talking about and how I did them, within reason, I will definitely help. I'll post videos on the subject. I'll answer questions. I just, I don't know. I'm tired of watching people struggle. I think it's completely ridiculous. We live in possibly the best place on earth to make moves. Like, it's so easy to get money that's not even yours to do things with, but people always borrow money for the wrong reasons. Like, at the end of the day, that's why all of these people, and I'm sorry if I'm talking to you, but odds are I am, you're struggling because you borrowed money to spend it on something that wasn't going to make you money. And I did it. Like I said, I did it for years, but I quickly realized how bad of an idea that was. Like, your cash flow every month dictates your quality of life. You can have all sorts of assets, but if they're not printing you money every month, they're just sitting there. Like, yeah, they're a hedge, and you have them if you ever need them, but your day-to-day is still going to cost you. Like, you can have $1 million sitting in an investment, but if you only got 30 grand in the bank and you have $10,000 in expenses every month, it's going to feel like you're going to feel stressed, right? And that's what it was for me. Like, I started doing well on the asset side, but it's still, like, I hate that how expensive everything is every month. So I took it upon myself to do everything I could to try and limit those expenses. And then whenever I borrow money, I use it to make money. And then I take that money, stuff it in an account, so it starts paying my bills or generating passive income, etc., etc. I can go on with finances, but the point is, I'm 29. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, not finance. Everything that I learned myself, or sought out myself. I didn't come from money, not at all. Farthest thing from it, honestly. Like I said, I started at 22 with $10. So it's all real achievable, like, quit making excuses. Quit making excuses, quit being lazy, quit thinking about doing something, and do something. Make a plan and take a step towards it every single day. And if you fuck up, that means you're doing good. Honestly. Mistakes are how you prosper. Mistakes are how you end up being successful. You have to make mistakes to be successful. You fail 1,000 times, you can succeed on the 1,001st time, then you still succeeded, right? If you try to start a business 1,000 times, but on that 1,001st time your business takes off, you win. It really is like, it's consistency is the key. Consistency is king. So I took action on my plans every day, formulated my plans 4 or 5 years in advance, and I just went for it. And it's patience and consistency and healthy spending and financial decisions. And you can also have a dirt bike track in your backyard one day. So that said, hopefully this didn't piss too many of you off, but facts are facts. Like, comment if you have any questions, if you want to hear more about specific things that I'm talking about. I'd love to dive into financial topics. I can possibly put GoPro up while I talk about it, so it's still dirt bike content, you know. We'll get there. So anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.